call that might never come. Patience was part of every love. No instant answers, no quick comfort, just hearts learning how to endure. The slower the wait, the deeper it carved a space only time could fill. Those were the days of waiting, slow and heavy yet so pure. The longer we waited, the more precious it became. We stood at empty stations for hours, wrote words we hoped would reach someone, saved coins just to hear a distant voice. Love grew strong in the silence. Now everything rushes past too quickly. Hearts barely have room to feel, but back then we knew how to wait, and waiting taught us how to love. Those were the days of waiting, when love had to travel far, through distance, through time, through longing, and still found its way home. I sometimes miss that slow world, where feelings had time to ripen, where a single letter could change everything, because we waited with our whole hearts. Those were the days of waiting, difficult but deeply beautiful. The era when love was patient, and patience made love real. I miss the weight of waiting. It made everything feel passed through days without noticing the hands that held me up, the quiet sacrifices made for me. I thought they would last forever. I was always too busy surviving to see the love right in front of me. Took for granted every gentle moment, every warm meal, every worried call. I learned gratitude too late, after so many had already gone. Now my heart aches with thank yous I never got to say in time. To the ones who stayed when I was difficult, who forgave me without being asked, who believed in me when I gave up. I finally see your quiet strength. Life moves so fast, I forgot to look back, to say the words that truly mattered. Now in the stillness of these later years, the thank yous bloom like flowers in regret. I learned gratitude too stormy day that carried me this far. If only I had known sooner how precious each of you truly was, I would have held you longer and said thank you every single day. To all the love I once took lightly, I bow my head and whisper thank you. Thank you for loving me anyway. I'm sorry it took me this long, but I'm grateful, truly grateful. One by one the lights go out, only mine remains. Everyone has gone to bed, the house falls into deep silence. I walk through the quiet hallway, turning off the last remaining lights. No one sees this small ritual, the final task of my long day. I stand alone in the darkened living room and feel the weight of time. I'm always the last one to turn off the lights. This quiet moment, I meet my entire life. The children have grown and left, the laughter has moved far away. Now only my footsteps echo in this house that once was full. I touch the switch with tired hands, pausing for a brief second, looking back on all the years that brought me to this night. I'm always the last one to turn off the lights, carrying the day on my shoulders and the years inside my chest. In this small darkness before sleep, I finally see myself clearly, the one who kept everything running while no one was watching. I'm always the last one to turn off the lights, but in this lonely, honest moment, I feel the most alive. Click, darkness falls, another day gently ends, and I remain. I said it with a steady voice, even when my hands were shaking. Smiled like nothing was wrong, while everything inside was breaking. No one knew the nights I couldn't sleep, how heavy the silence felt. I swallowed every storm inside and kept the darkness to myself. Behind the words "I'm fine" were countless lonely nights, tears I never let fall, and a heart that wanted to scream. I carried the weight without complaint, pretended I was stronger than I was, hid the cracks no one could see in the places only I could touch. Now the years have softened the edges. I look back at that young, tired me, who tried so hard to hold it all with trembling, honest hands. Behind the words "I'm fine" was a soul that needed kindness, a boy who just wanted someone to see through his quiet lies. If I could go back to those nights, I'd sit beside him in the dark, hold him gently without words, and say, "You don't have to be okay." Behind the words "I'm fine" was the bravest version of me. Thank you for surviving alone. I'm here now to hold what you carried. It's okay, you were never alone. I see you now, I've got you. A small forgotten space still lives inside me. It was just a tiny rented room with cracked walls and creaking floor. No name on the door, no view outside, but it held my entire youth. I had almost nothing back then, a thin mattress, one old desk, yet my heart burned brighter there than it ever has since. The nameless room I lived in still keeps the purest me, the poorest, hungriest, most honest version of who I used to be. Rain leaked through the ceiling sometimes, window wind slipped under the door, but in that small and shabby space I dreamed the biggest dreams. Now that building may be gone, replaced by something cold and new, but somewhere deep within my soul, that little room still stands. That nameless room I lived in holds the boy was the sound of rain on the tin roof. The way I felt so alive there, even when I had so little. That nameless room, though lost in time, still shelters my truest heart. The version of me that was most real before the world made me hard. I carry that small room with me wherever I go. The boy who lived there still whispers to me. Nothing special happened, but I survived because of them. Plain mornings with the same coffee, quiet evenings walking the same road. No big moments, no shining victories, just small days stacked one upon another. I used to think they meant nothing, ordinary, forgettable, plain. But those quiet, unremarkable days were secretly holding me up. The days that were nothing were the ones that saved me. No drama, no glory, no spotlight, just steady, gentle love for my life. Waking up, going to work, coming home, eating simple meals, breathing, resting. I once looked down on those moments. Now I see they were the real foundation. While I was waiting for something grand, life was already happening here. In the small unnoticed hours, my heart kept quietly beating. The days that were nothing carried me through the hardest times. They didn't shine, they didn't roar, but they never once let me fall. I owe my life to the ordinary, to the repeated, humble moments. The ones I almost threw away were the ones that kept me alive. The days that were nothing were actually everything to me. Thank you for every plain sunrise that brought me safely to today. No grand story, just ordinary days, quietly saving me all along. I once hated that season. Now I understand. I wanted to run away from it all. The heavy days, the lonely nights, I cursed that painful time. Thought it was trying to break me. I saw only the suffering back then, the tears, the fear, the endless struggle. Never realized that even in the dark, Something was quietly holding me. That time didn't hate me. It was teaching me how to endure. It was shaping me with rough hands so I could become who I am now. The nights I thought I wouldn't survive, the mornings I woke up broken, were actually building my roots deeper than I could ever see. I blame that season for so long, for every scar and every wound. But now I see it differently, it stayed with me when I had no one. That time didn't hate me, it was loving me in its own way, carving strength into my bones when I thought I was only breaking. I'm sorry I hated you for so long, thank you for never letting me go. You were the hardest teacher I ever had, and the kindest one too. That time didn't hate me, it was saving me all along. The season I wanted to erase was the one that made me strong. I forgive you, and I thank you for every painful day that kept me alive. That warm, quiet air still lingers on my skin. It was an ordinary afternoon, nothing special happened at all, but the sunlight felt softer and the breeze carried peace. The faint smell of summer grass mixed with distant rain, that gentle air wrapped around me like a long forgotten hug. The air of that day still lives warmly in my heart, even though many seasons passed, it never grew cold. I don't remember what we talked about or where we were going. I just remember how light I felt breathing in that moment. No grand event, no dramatic scene, just a quiet golden hour. Yet that single afternoon became my dearest memory. The air of that day still touches me sometimes, soft, kind, and full of light, like a whisper from my youth. Whenever the world feels heavy, I close my eyes and return to that warm, peaceful air where everything was alright. The air of that day remains the gentlest thing I know, a small ordinary moment that became my forever home. for something that was near. I left the familiar paths behind, chasing bigger skies and brighter days. Thought real happiness waited somewhere else, in places I had never been. I ran toward unknown horizons with restless feet and hungry eyes, believing life would feel complete once I reached that distant line. I didn't have to go so far. The warmth I wanted was right here, in quiet streets and gentle moments that I once failed to see. The evening light on old rooftops, the sound of my mother's voice, simple meals shared without words, these were the real treasures. The more I moved away from home, the more I lost what truly mattered. The peace I desperately looked for was living where I used to stand. I didn't have to go so far. Happiness was always close in the small ordinary days I once thought were not enough. Now I look back with tender eyes at the younger me who ran so fast. If only I had known back then that I was already home. I didn't have to go so far. The greatest love was always near, and the life I tried to leave behind was everything I ever needed. I came back home and found myself waiting there all alone. After running so far, I finally turn around. I lived phasing outward for so long, chasing light, chasing roads, chasing tomorrow. Always giving, always holding, always moving, never once turning toward myself. My steps were fast, my heart was loud, I thought that was the only way. But the more I ran toward the world, the farther I drifted from me. Now on this late evening road, I'm slowly walking back to myself. No rush, no noise, no performance, just quiet steps toward home. The world outside is still beautiful, but his voice no longer drowns me. I'm learning how to listen inward to the small, tired voice I left behind. I don't need to be strong tonight, I don't need to fix anything. I just wanna come back gently to the person I abandoned. This is the road back to me, the longest journey I've ever taken. After living for everyone else, I'm finally coming home to myself. I'm sorry I left you waiting in the corner of my heart. From now on I'll walk with you, not ahead, not behind, together. On this late evening road, I'm returning to my own soul. With softer steps and kinder eyes, I'm learning how to come home. I'm coming back to me, slowly, at last. So many seasons without ever looking at me. I woke up early for everyone else, put family first, then work, then duty. Smiled when I was falling apart inside, carried the weight like it was normal. There was no time to ask myself how I was really feeling. I became the one who always held on while quietly letting go of me. Those were the seasons I forgot myself, living for others with all my heart. I gave everything I had away and left my own soul in the dark. The mirror showed a tired stranger, but I told myself I was fine. Years passed like silent footsteps while I kept moving, never resting. I thought being strong meant disappearing, that love required forgetting me. Now I see the quiet price I paid for all the years I didn't breathe. Those were the seasons I forgot myself, the most selfless and loneliest time. I was everyone's shelter, everyone's rock, but I had no home inside. Now I sit with that younger me who gave so much and asked for nothing. I gently hold his tired hands and whisper, it's okay to rest now. Those were the seasons I forgot myself, but I understand it now. With love, every sacrifice, every quiet night was beautiful in its own way. I forgot myself for a long time. stumble through our 20s with shaking hands and uncertain hearts, dreams too big for our small pockets, love too heavy for our young shoulders. We fell down more than we stood tall, made mistakes we couldn't undo. But in between the chaos and tears, there were moments we burned like stars. We shone sometimes, bright and reckless and true. We shook often, trembled a lot, but when we shone, we lit up the sky. Until our stomachs hurt, loved people we shouldn't have loved, ran toward futures we couldn't see, and cried in rooms with no one watching. Our youth wasn't clean or graceful, it was messy, loud, and full of scars. But those rare, dazzling moments made all the shaking worth it. We shone sometimes like fireflies in the pouring rain, imperfect, broken, but so alive. Our youth was painfully beautiful. Now when I look back at us, I'm grateful we were wild and fragile and brave enough to shine anyway. We shone sometimes, even while falling apart. That flickering, stubborn light is what I miss the most. Perfect, but we were brilliantly alive. Even when we were shaking. Quietly, with careful hands, I begin to clean. I open the old drawers of my heart, where blessed gathered for soothing, unspoken sorries and hidden regrets, lying silently in the dark. I've carried them without noticing, heavy shadows I refuse to see. Today I let the light come in and touch what I once buried deep. I'm brushing dust off my heart, gently sweeping away the pain, letting go of old wounds and blame, so I can finally breathe again. The times I hurt someone I love, the chances I was too afraid to take, the dreams I folded and put away, all covered in forgotten years. No loud cries, no dramatic ending, just soft hands and quiet tears. I forgive the younger me who did the best that he could do. I'm brushing dust off my heart, making space for kinder light, releasing what no longer serves me, to hold what truly feels right. Oh, it's not too late to start again, to meet myself with softer eyes. After all the years of running, I'm finally coming home inside. I'm brushing dust off my heart with patience, love, and grace, learning how to hold myself in the warmest, gentlest way. Layer by layer, breath by breath, I'm letting go and returning to myself. The melody isn't over yet. There are still notes left in me. My youth has quietly passed by, like spring rain that fell and gone. The dreams I once held so tightly have changed their shape with time. I thought the song had ended when my hair began to turn gray, but somewhere deep inside my chest a soft refrain is still playing. I am still an unfinished song, not yet complete, not yet done. Even if the early verses fade, there is still music left to hum. The days ahead may be quieter, slower steps on familiar roads, but my heart still holds a gentle tune that only I can truly know. I don't need to shine like before, or chase the lights I once ran toward. Now I sing with softer voice for the life that still remains. I am still an unfinished song, with verses only time will write. Though youth has turned its final page, my melody continues through the night. It's okay if it's not loud or grand, a quiet song can still be beautiful. As long as my heart is still beating, the music hasn't ended yet. I am still an unfinished song, and I will keep singing till the end. With all the love and scars I've gathered, I'll hum the rest with grateful hands. Not finished yet, still singing softly to the end. I ran so far, chasing golden lights. I believed if I ran faster, happiness would stand at the end. Bigger dreams and louder victories would finally reward my tired hands. So I kept pushing through the days, sacrifice sleep and gentle moments, thinking the finish line would hold everything I ever wanted. But it wasn't success that waited for me. It was quiet peace, soft and warm. Not loud applause or shining glory, just a calm I never learned to seek. Now the road has grown much quieter. My steps have slowed without regret. All the things I once chased desperately feel smaller in this evening light. The race I ran with burning heart left me weary but strangely free. In the stillness I finally heard the voice I had long ignored. It wasn't success that waited for me. It was this tender, healing peace, a humble light I never pursued, that was gently waiting all along. I smiled at my younger self today, who ran with fear and desperate hope. If only I had known back then that rest itself could be beautiful. It wasn't success that waited for me. It was this quiet return to myself. The greatest gift I never asked for was simply learning how to rest. I stopped running, and peace was there, waiting patiently for me. White sky, small shoulders. I was so young then. The world looked endless back then. Streets stretched further than my courage. Every corner felt like an ocean, and I was just a small boat. I walked with trembling steps, afraid I might get lost forever. My heart was too soft for this size of a world that never waited. The world was big and I was small, a fragile speck beneath the sky. Scared, clumsy, easily shaken, but so full of quiet light. Dreams felt too heavy to carry. Future looked like distant mountains. I often stood still in the middle, wondering if I belonged anywhere. Now I've grown taller with the years. The world feels smaller in my hands. faced it all with wide eyes. The world was big and I was small. That trembling heart was beautiful. Even when I felt so tiny, I was bravely becoming me. If I could meet him once again, that scared boy under the vast sky, I'd hold him gently by the shoulders and say, it's okay to be small. The world was big and I was small, but that smallness was precious. The purest, softest part of me I sometimes miss the most. I was small, the world was wide, but I was there, trying my best. After long silence, I hear it again. I lived inside their expectations, carrying loads that weren't mine. I spoke with borrowed words and hid my own small voice. Day after day I answered others, smiled when I wanted to cry, became the person they needed until I forgot who I was. The voice I thought had disappeared is quietly calling from a place I left behind long ago, my own trembling, honest voice. It was buried under responsibilities, under the weight of being strong, but it never truly left me. It was only waiting in the dark. One quiet evening it found me, like rain after a long drought. Soft and hesitant at first, then clearer than ever before. The voice I thought had disappeared is singing gently inside me. The dreams I silenced, the feelings I hid are finally speaking my name. I'm sorry I left you alone for so long. I'm sorry I didn't listen. From now on I'll protect you, my precious fragile voice. The voice I thought had disappeared has come back to hold my hand. In this late season of my life, I'm learning to speak as me again. It's okay, you can speak now. I'm listening, finally. One small light in a sleeping town. Everyone had turned off their lights. The alley fell into silence, but one window remained awake, a lonely golden square in the dark. Inside someone was still breathing, maybe holding back tears, maybe writing down a dream that daylight wouldn't allow. That window that stayed lit all night was a quiet sign of life. Someone was enduring, someone was still hoping. I often walk by that narrow street, looking up at the single glow, wondering whose heart was burning while the rest of the world rested. It became my silent companion, a proof that I wasn't the only one, carrying heavy thoughts alone under the same vast night sky. That window that stayed lit all night held someone's unspoken story, a fragile flame against the darkness, refusing to give up. I see a late night light, I remember that small window and the invisible strength of those who keep going when others sleep. That window that stayed lit all night taught me how to endure, even when no one was watching. Someone was still fighting for tomorrow. One small light still burning through the long quiet night. For all